I'm glad you're experienced at this.
And you're not too experienced, but I have done it before. It does help because the girl that was in my group last semester had done it in another class too, and it just helps that somebody kind of knows what's going on.
Yeah. So, because it took me a while even to do just my little, I wasn't able to get everything working the way I wanted to. And so I couldn't even get my little introduction done. So by the time I finally got it up and going to the point where I thought I was recording it, I was like, kids, get up here, help me do this. It was so fun.
That was good.
It was like hours of me working on the computer. So I realized my computer.
I know, I'm not good at computers. My daughter's going into information systems, and I need her here with me. She's down at BYU. So.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
Well, looking at you, looking at the screen, because she's like, I heard you. Where's that dog at?
Oh, yeah. All right. So part 2, and that's all it says, right? Wasn't that all it was?
It says to do go through any questions you may have had on that part 2 thing, and then we're supposed to do this quiz together. Work on it at the end after we've kind of talked about any questions. So did you have any questions on part 2? Anything that seemed really weird?
Well, the only thing that I missed when looking, because I answered all the questions and then compared them with the answer sheet.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can help me with this. And it just said for number 6A, it said convenience, and I didn't find anything that said convenience. Maybe I missed that.
There was one thing about convenience, and it was at the very beginning of the lesson. And convenience basically is convenience sampling is like whatever's going to be the easiest way. So for them, the reason why they say convenience is that they didn't really design to get a certain type of subject or that fit a certain category. It was just whoever walked in the door. So that's why it was considered convenience.
And that was just convenience. Okay. And that's an actual sampling is convenience?
Convenience. It's
that one.
It's kind of skewed because even that one, because I put a different answer too, because I thought it was
well, I put cluster.
See, and I think I put stratified sampling because I felt like they fit into a category. They were all going in for treatment. So I felt like that was what kind of categorized them in an area. But technically they're saying it was just convenience because they were just walking in. I kind of get where they're coming from with it.
Yeah.
But I still felt like it was a little unclear. So
because I started with stratified, then I crossed out and put cluster because they were all different kinds of people coming into the clinic. But I guess they were coming into a clinic. Right. I don't know.
It was kind
not
of
necessarily everybody had the same thing.
Right.
I don't know. So convenience, I'll try to look that up and see if
it's not anything big deal. Just think about, if you were
at a grocery store.
And you're gonna take a sample of every single person who walks in the door. It's convenience. You're not looking for any specific people. You're not looking for like a class or an age. You're just like, you come in, I'm gonna take have you do a survey. So
is this a lot of stuff that you already did in your other statistics class?
Yes, most of this was some of this, the cluster and the way they classified the sampling. Some of the names I hadn't heard before. Mm-hmm. That was a little different for me, but for the most part, it was pretty similar. What we did in lesson 3 was definitely stuff I've done before.
Okay.
So it's just the stuff in lesson 3 is a little more late. They show you how to create or how to find the standard deviation within a data set. And it's kind of a labor intensive process if you were to do it by hand, which is why we use computers and it just kicks it out for you because it's like a big formula.
You just put the formula in. Great.
So anyway, it's a little, but they show you how to do it by hand just so that for future, if you ever had to learn how to do the standard deviation by hand. And that was definitely for my old class. So, but it's been a while since I took any stats. So
they show you by hand and then they show you the formula.
Yeah, they show you how to do it on the computer as well. And they're very clear. I felt like the lessons in this particular class have been very direct and to the point. Nothing's too far out there. So we'll see.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right. So, everything else was pretty.
Yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward to me. A lot of definitions. Let's see. And did you do part 2 for the group preparation part? I think that was, yeah, you did, because you said.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I did both of those.
So anyway, I don't know if we want to just move on to the quiz. Is
the quiz open notes or is it just?
I think it's open notes because we get to work together as a group. Let's see what it says.
Yeah.
I'm going to just read instructions.
Is everything in this class open notes? I can't. All my classes are different, so.
I think a lot of it is. I'm not sure about if we have exams or not. It seems like I didn't see a lot of set exams.
Yeah, they don't have exam like anywhere on here. It's just homework.
There's one. It says lesson 8 is a review for exam 1. So there must be a couple exams in there. But I know none of it's proctored exams, which great. I love that. So
yeah, that is good. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and here we can just click on it and
and we can talk about it together. And if we really need to, I think we can look at our notes, and then if they tell us that's not acceptable, then we'll know for next time that that's not okay.
Well, I think it would have said it, right? Please do not use any notes.
Yeah, I would have said no open. Yeah, because every class I've done, I'm in an anatomy and physiology class, and that's always, for quizzes, it's open note, but for exams, it's not. So, but this is just a quiz, so I think it should be fine.
All right, so you're in that class, huh? I'm taking physiology next semester. That'll be fun.
I did A&P 1 last semester, and I'm in A&P 2 this semester. So I took 264 last semester, and this semester I did 265. And 264, they changed the whole anatomy program this past semester. And last semester was a pilot program, which I was not in. I was in the old way. And now they've moved it to this new way. And I'm having a little bit, it's just new to me. So I'm trying to figure out how they want to do it. But I think the new way is going to be a lot better. They don't require you to buy the text anymore, which was $190 or something insane.
And has it always been grouped together, physiology and anatomy?
Yeah, they're both together. Mostly the lab part of it. The lab is mostly the anatomy part, and the class, the lecture, is more physiology. So there's less anatomy in the lecture part. So, but they both are really labor intensive. They take a long time, a lot of studying. So just so you know, plan on putting in loads of time.
Well, I have a medical terminology class this semester, and it's a lot of studying. So and it's teaching me all the systems and everything. So I'm like, okay, hopefully this helps with physiology.
I think it'll help you a ton, actually, because I think that's half of it, is that they throw so many terms at you that you've never heard before. And not only do you have to know what those terms are, but you have to be able to identify them by looking at something. And so if I
already know the terminology, well, that's good. I didn't even mean to take it that way, and I'm glad I did.
It will help. It will help you a lot. I think it'll be good. You'll be glad. So.
All right. Okay. Number 1, I completed the individual preparation assignment. Yes. So. I actively participated. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So here we go.
I'll read number 3 if you want. Researchers would like to determine if reviewing material consistently within an hour after class helps students perform better on exams than if students wait to review material the day before the exam. To answer this question, the researchers are trying to determine if an observational study or an experiment would be more appropriate. They are discussing who the population would be and how they will determine which sampling method will best represent the population. Which of the 5 steps of the statistical process are the researchers currently applying? I would say design the study.
Yeah, they're still in the designing process, right?
Yeah, they haven't started collecting data, or they don't even know if they're going to do observational or
Observational
experiment.
Yeah.
So
yes, design the study. All right, number 4, a researcher has collected the results of a survey where the participants were asked how many hours of TV they watch each day. The researcher tallies the frequencies for each category and computes mean numbers of hours watched. She then creates a histogram to help illustrate the overall distribution. Which of the 5 steps of the statistical process did the researchers apply? So is she, and I know you've taken this class before, so this is probably super easy for you, but is it the making inferences or describing the data?
I think she's describing the data. I think she's still in describing the data because she hasn't really made any shared an opinion about it. She's just kind of looking at the overall data at this point. She like made a graph and some different things to kind of help illustrate the data, but she hasn't determined what she thinks it's going to be. So that's my personal feeling on it. I think she's describing it.
Okay, because she's not really using that information yet. Okay, and that's the inference part.
Because inferences is when you start to have an opinion about what it's telling you. And then taking action, obviously, is the next step when you say, okay, because of this, we need to do that.
So after describing the data is where she's making the graph, and then the inference is like looking at the graph and deciding.
Right, making some opinions about, like she's saying, oh, well, the mean number of hours watched is 40, like 42, where she's just right now creating a way to display the data.
All right, go ahead with number 5.
All right. Mumbai, India is a quickly growing city of importance in its own country as well as the global economy. A marketing research firm has been asked by a prominent fast food restaurant to help determine if the citizens of Mumbai would support this fast food business. On the list of all registered taxpayers, 3,000 names are randomly selected. Each individual on the list is mailed a brief questionnaire. The researchers received 1,049 responses. The population is, they had a question like this on the homework quiz. So
the population, yeah. So, you've already done the homework quiz?
I did, just because I was trying to move forward. So, but that's okay.
Oh, that's good. That's good to already have that. Okay, so it's asking what we think the population of the actual thing is.
Mm-hmm. And so the one thing to keep in mind too is what your definition of population is versus a sample. And so in my opinion, the sample are the 3,000 names they randomly selected.
Mm-hmm.
But the population is in
the actual responses.
So not actual responses. I think it's the whole group of who they're trying to determine this applies to. So they're trying to determine, and don't let me sway you on your opinion, because if you have a different opinion than me, please, let's talk about it. But from my understanding, they're looking at this to determine about the citizens of Mumbai and all of them. So that's their population in its entirety. That's who they're looking at, a small sample of that population, the 3,000 people who are randomly selected. But the population of it is the citizens of Mumbai.
Because that is why they're doing the smaller, right?
Looking to apply to that whole group.
It was that one triangle thing?
Yes.
Small, what is it? Small to large. Oh, that wasn't making inferences.
Oh, that was different. So
that's different. Right?
But
anyway,
I can look up really quick a population definition. I'm pretty sure I got this right.
Because I think the next one is going to ask us the sample. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So let me read this to you. It says, definition of population, the entire pool from which a statistical sample is drawn. So the information obtained from the sample allows statisticians to develop hypotheses about the larger population. So,
okay. So population is the citizens, and then the sample is the 3,000 people.
Yep.
Because it's the same question, but it's asking a sample.
Right.
for number 6.
Oh, the sample. See, and that's where it's tricky because I don't know if it's the people who responded, because that's who you're going to draw your sample from, right? The 3,000 people who were mailed the questionnaire, but you only got 1,049 back. So I would tend to think it was the people who responded, because they're the only ones that you're going to have data for. You don't have any data for the total 3,000. You only have data for the people who responded to your thing. But that's my feeling on it. So I'm going to look here really quick. I'm going to look at the same spot. Sample definition. I just have been looking up a bunch of stuff online because it helps me.
Yeah, it really does too. Especially, I think once I get my brain wrapped around, because you use this stuff every single time, like it's the same stuff, right? The 5 steps and the.
So it says, in statistics and quantitative research methodology, a data sample is a set of data collected and or selected from a statistical population by a defined procedure. See, and so that's tricky because it could be the set of data collected, which would be 1,049 people that responded, or selected, which would be 3,000 people they want to in. I'm going to put, for me personally, I think I'm going to put 1,000.
The responses.
Yeah, the responses, because I think that's going to be where they're going to find their information from. So,
yeah, that makes sense.
So, anyway.
Because really the other, what?
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So number 7. Studies have shown that retention of classroom materials can drop as low as 58% within 15 minutes of class and within 44% after the first hour of class. This forgetting the curve continues so that within 6 days, only 25% is remembered. How can a student conquer this forgetting curve? The researchers in this study claim that constant review is important. Suppose your teacher wanted to test this and invited you to participate in a study where you were asked to receive specific material 15 minutes after class for 10 minutes, an hour after class for 10 minutes, and then again 2 days after class for 10 minutes. Your teacher then gives you a short 10-question quiz where your score out of 10 is recorded. What type of data is your teacher collecting? Oh, I don't even remember reading about that. Sorry.
I think it's quantitative.
Quantitative.
So quantitative versus categorical information. Quantitative information, it usually is related to a number, some kind of number they're collecting, like 6 out of 10 people got this, or
I do remember
this thing.
Like body, height, body, temperature, cost of.
Right.
So that's the number. The only thing it said for categorical that is a number is jersey or phone number.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And categorical
so
be more like, are you male or female, or which kind of card you like best.
And that's categorical. Okay.
Yeah, they fit into, it describes the data more using a word than a number. So,
all right. And so this is.
I think it's quantitative because they're recording your score out of 10.
Yes, it's using numbers. Okay. All right.
Okay, this is similar to the last one. I'll read it. Studies have shown that retention of classroom materials can drop as low as 58% within 15 minutes of class and within 44% after the first hour after class. This forgetting curve continues so that within 6 days, only 25% is remembered, blah, 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 blah. We read all that. So after the 6th day, your teacher asks you if you feel confident that you've retained at least 50% of the material. He then records your response as yes or no, not sure. What type of data is your teacher collecting? And this
all right. So that
would be categorical.
Yeah.
So cool.
All right. Is this the same?
Same question.
Same question. Forgetting the curve. Okay. So at the end, your teacher also selects a group to give no review to the material over the 6 days. So this group is called the hypothesis, treatment, population, or control. Let's see if I wrote all that down.
They invite you to participate in a study where you're asked to review specific material, blah, 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 blah. And then they select a group that they give no review of the material. They
don't even get the group.
So your treatment group, so if you think back to the polio vaccine, did you watch the polio vaccine video by chance?
So when I clicked on that, it was a Danny Glover thing. Was that yours?
No, that's weird.
I watched this mathematical statistic thing with Danny Glover, and I was like, this isn't even saying anything about polio.
No.
So
it took a little while before it got into the polio thing, a couple minutes, but I don't think it was Danny Glover either, but anyway. But the polio thing basically, they talked about how when he was figuring out whether or not the polio vaccine was going to be effective, he created this study and he had all these children immunized for polio. But it was totally random. It was a double-blind study, which means the doctors who were giving the immunizations didn't know if they were giving one or giving a placebo. The kids didn't know if they were giving one or giving a placebo. But then they divided them into the two groups after the fact by looking at the study. And the one group was their treatment group because they're the ones who received the treatment. And then the other group was what they're looking for here, which I think is the control group. And it's the group that didn't receive anything, that just received a placebo. So it's their control group because they're the one, they don't give them anything, and it helps them to determine whether or not the treatment has any effectiveness. Does that make sense?
Yes, and they're in control of the outcome, right? So.
Right. So it's as if they weren't treated at all. They got nothing. And so they're kind of the ones that help them determine whether or not it's going to make any difference or not. That's weird.
All right. I am going to go try to find that video because I'm really interested in that.
It was actually really a cool video. And they had old footage of like the 1950s of these little kids getting shots and the doctors giving them shots. And it was kind of funny because some cried and some didn't. And it was just kind of cute.
Yeah, I would really like to see that.
Yeah, so
I was really upset about the Danny Glover.
That seems.
But, I mean, it was all about statistics, and I'm like, I really don't think this is supposed to be. No. All I did was click on the thing. Did you?
Yeah, I clicked on it too. I'm pretty sure, and that's all.
That's all you got. You got it right away, huh?
But it came up. It took. There was all
like this, like this intro, and
there was some people talking
it and
whatever, and it was a black guy. So it may have been Danny Glover. I don't know. He definitely had an accent of sorts. So. But
I think you would know Danny Glover.
Yeah, I think that.
It was very old. It was very old, but he looks the same.
So it didn't look.
Anyway, I'll look for it.
Anyway, it was pretty good. So if you can look for that, it was interesting just to see how they kind of figured it out. And I guess they had some big problems. They had to go back and run the study again or do the whole immunization thing again because they had some design issues with the original study. It, I guess, immunized 3 million kids, and the information they got back was skewed somehow, or they had to throw out the whole initial study, and then they had to go back and immunize another it was almost another 1 million kids, and then determine their study from that. So it was interesting to kind of see why they would throw it all out. Never mind.
Yeah, they had it somehow, huh?
Well, and people were so trusting to be like, sure, just take my kid and give him a shot. We don't know what it'll do, but great.
Yeah, I guess you go into it with hopes that
it's going to keep your kid from getting polio, I guess, or some other disease. So I'm not sure if they even knew that it might be a polio cure. I don't know. I'm not sure what they knew exactly. So
yeah, because that is scary. Like, would you do that with the Ebola? We want to give your child Ebola to fight Ebola.
Or even like, something like AIDS what? Or all sorts of, you know, there's all sorts of things out there that they could say, well, we want to cure this, so we're going to give your kid an immunization. I think we're just a little more wary in the day we're living in.
Yeah, it was too new back then.
Yes. So, all right, I'll read number 10. Which of the following would be considered an experimental design? A telephone poll asking people about whether or not they vaccinate their children, administering the tuberculosis vaccination to one group and giving a placebo to another, a census, a mailed survey asking people whether or not they received the tuberculosis vaccine. So
I would say, yeah, I would say administering.
That's me too.
Actually administering.
We are on the same page as that. So.
All right. In a study to determine the average wage of working people in Mumbai, which of the following would be the best sample? Every 10th worker that you meet as you travel the streets of Mumbai, all of the workers in one working district of Mumbai, many randomly selected workers in each of several working districts of Mumbai, or all female workers. So I don't know. I would just say randomly selected workers in several working districts. Or no, the average wage. Yeah, several working districts. What would you say?
I don't know. See, this one, they have a question on the homework quiz that's really similar to this, and this is the one I got wrong. So that's why I'm looking at it going, oh, I don't know. So that's why I remember.
To get an average wage.
An average wage.
Of the working people of Mumbai, you would think that you'd go to several working districts. But
I would think at least several working districts. So what I recall from the homework question was the way they did it was anytime you have where you can get all of anything. So to me, the key words right there are all or many. So every 10th worker, I'm kind of dismissing that right off the bat because I feel like it's pretty random and you're not getting a great thing. But if you can get all of the workers in a section, why I'm saying all the female workers, even though I feel like in Mumbai, that's probably not the greatest study. But based on the question I got wrong on the homework, I would say all. And I don't want to tell you because I don't know if I should what the question was, but it was basically the same thing, that it was like the average age of people living on or off campus at BYU, Idaho, something like that. And then it was saying kind of the same, similar kind of questions. And I remember the answer was along the lines of all the female workers. It's not that, but
like a specific gender and then what their weight was.
Yeah, it was just basically taking all of one kind of random group not random. They were just getting a huge selection of people. So I don't know. I'm going to put all the female workers, but
it's funny because Nicaragua, all the females go to work and the males stay home. So, I mean, it would make sense there. Maybe that's how Mumbai is.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I mean.
But why would it say determine the average wage of working people? And then you just do females.
I don't know. See, and that's because the question.
That's what threw you off in your other one?
Yeah, it threw me off too. Because I thought, well, it would be many randomly selected workers in each of the several. That would be my initial gut instinct and where I would want to go, is many randomly selected workers. Mm-hmm. But after reading that one question, I'm like, hey, and getting it wrong. It was, I'm going to put all the female workers, but you can put whatever you want.
So we're working on this as a group.
We are working on it as a group, but it doesn't mean we have to all put the same.
I know, it's true. It's true.
So it doesn't necessarily make sense to me. So it's one of those questions I want to ask.
So that's all the female workers in Mumbai?
Yeah. Like everybody.
All right.
And the only way that I think that makes sense too is that if you're asking everyone, you're getting the whole spectrum. You're going to get the people who are, doctors and making a lot of money, and the people who are janitors and making nothing. Yeah. So.
All right.
But I think it's skewed just because they're gender. I don't think gender anymore. Well, more and more in our day and age, gender is more balanced and more equal in the workforce, but it hasn't always been that way. So it's hard for me to lean towards that, but whatever. All right, I'll read number 12. Okay. You want to become the next Jonas Salk and produce a vaccine that will help cure children of respiratory syncytial virus. You test the vaccine and compare it to a placebo and randomly choose one group of children to take the vaccine and one group to take the placebo. What or who are the experimental units or subject? So
the subject is the children.
I agree. I think it's the children too. So I'm trying not to railroad you and be like, I did this already, so let me just tell you my answers.
I know. I appreciate that because it helps me to try to figure it out on my own, you know?
Yeah. So I'll be quieter.
No, you're good. You're good. Okay. Same thing. You want to become the next Jonas. You test the vaccine, compare it to children, take the vaccine. What are the treatments? So it's the vaccine and the placebo are the treatments.
I agree.
All right, good.
Okay. In 1992, the U.S. government supported a study that was run for 15 years, where 4,608 low-income families were given a chance to move to less impoverished areas. They distributed vouchers and provided various support systems. The researchers wanted to determine if getting people out of poor neighborhoods would reduce the poverty level of U.S. citizens. The low-income families were randomly assigned to one of the following three groups. Number one, the MTO Low Poverty Voucher Group, which receives Section 8 certificates or vouchers usable only in low poverty areas, along with counseling and assistance in finding a private unit to lease. The Traditional Voucher Group, which received regular Section 8 certificates or vouchers geographically unrestricted and ordinary briefings and assistance from the PHAs, local public housing authorities. Number three, the Control Group, which received no certificates or vouchers but remained eligible for public or project-based housing and other social programs to which families would otherwise have been entitled. This study was an observational study, an experiment, or neither.
All right, so when you have an experiment, they are in control of the outcome, right?
What they're looking for. And I think for me, what I gather the difference is between observational study and experiment is an observational study. They're basically just looking. They're not doing anything to alter the outcome at all. They're just looking or asking, like a survey. And
so like these vouchers, they just distributed vouchers.
So to me, I think it's an experiment because I think they controlled an aspect of
and put them into specific groups. Yeah.
Right. So they created a situation in which they gave them each, there was 3 different groups of what they gave, and then they wanted to just see how it would look, how it would work. But they were in control of even one little aspect of these people's lives. And then
it wasn't just completely
just them. We're just going to watch you and see what happens.
Yeah. All right. This is making sense.
Okay. Okay.
All right. If a p-value of 0.0002 was found for the study described above, then we could say that there is about a 0.002 probability of obtaining the actual observed result, or one more extreme, assuming the null is true.
I don't know that that's
the status quo. Are they the status quo?
So the p-value is a function of the observed sample results that's used for testing a statistical hypothesis. Okay, well, whatever.
Assuming the null is true. Yeah, that's what the p-value means.
Okay, so p-value helps you
determine true because it's the definition of p-value.
So actual observed on extreme. I guess that's true. I don't know if that's the actual value of it. probability made, I guess.
The probability of obtaining a result called a test statistic at least as extreme as the one you calculated. So the p-value was found.
Okay, the p-value is a number between 0 and 1.
Probability of, yeah, I would say true.
Okay, I'm going to say true on that. I don't really know if it actually is the actual, if that's the actual probability, but
because they're saying then we could say, yeah.
So, but whatever.
But I guess if the p-value is found, then you could say that it is the probability of obtaining, right? Because that's what the p-value is. I don't know. True.
I would say true too. So since the since the p-value is low in question 15, the researchers could conclude that the results are significant and providing low-level families with an opportunity to move away from low-income neighbors does make a difference in poverty.
Since it's true that it's low, it says that it can conclude.
Okay, since the p-value is low, it means it's got a really low probability.
Really low probability. Okay. So then they're saying that they could go forward with it because it's low.
Does make a difference. So if you,
move away.
Value was found.
Difference in poverty levels.
0.2 probability.
So it does make a difference. Yeah, I would say it sounds like that's true.
Okay.
If it's low, right? If the p-value is low,
then
the probability is low.
Right. It means that
one more. Oh, but that's probability.
That's assuming the null is true.
Observed result. Yeah.
We're given a chance to move to less impoverished areas. The researchers wanted to determine if getting people out of poor low income now is if not. So the null value is that nothing changes, that they don't. If p-value is found for the study described above, we could say that there's not. Since the p-value is low, the researchers can value the results are significant in providing low.
Results are significant in providing low-income families with the opportunity to move away from income neighbors does make a difference in poverty. So, I mean, does that make sense? When you have low-income families,
you're right here. A small p-value indicates strong evidence against the null hypothesis. So you reject the null hypothesis. A large p-value indicates weak evidence against the null hypothesis. So you fail to reject the null hypothesis. So yes, you're right. Both of them are true.
So the large is you.
Yeah.
So p-value, small p-value, you reject.
You reject the null hypothesis, which the null hypothesis is that nothing changes. Null means no difference.
Yeah.
So
and then the large value means you accept it.
Means you reject the null hypothesis, which is we shouldn't do anything about this.
Yeah.
And
with the small p-value.
But if you have a larger p-value, then you want to reject the null hypothesis and move on to something different.
Oh, okay.
So
you're rejecting on both the small and the large?
No. I mean, okay. Nope, you're right. Large value means weak evidence against the null hypothesis. So if it's large, it means that the probability of that is bigger. So you don't reject the null hypothesis, you keep it.
You would accept it, yes. Okay. Thank you. I'm like, I can't reject both.
I didn't think about
that would be too confusing to me.
It's a lot of like double negatives there. So I was like,
yes.
Oh. I hate when they say, which of these is not the answer?
Yes.
And then there's a none of the above. And you're like, well, wait a minute. What do you mean by not? That's not the answer, but none of the above. Does that mean it's all of the above?
Not the answer, yeah. Oh, God.
I had a question like that in my anatomy class today, and I hope they throw the question out because it didn't make a lot of sense to me. Because anyway, It doesn't matter. I got it wrong on my, of course, because it stands out to me because I got it wrong. And I'm like, this question's worded weird. But all right. So we do the last one.
Yes. So Daniel is design the study. Daniel can collect data.
Daniel
can discern. So describe the data, right?
Daniel can discern more truth. So he can.
Or is E. Make inferences, and truth is the D. Okay, so I have A, D, C, B, E. Is that what you have?
A, D, E, C. Wait.
A, D, C, B, E.
B, E. Yes, I do.
You have, all right, yeah.
I do.
Daniel can discern more truth. Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, we made it.
We did. Let's see how we did. Oh, we missed some.
All right. Well, when did we miss?
We missed. Okay. Hey, we missed D. Oh, I put my answers in wrong. Collect data.
Oh, you did? A, D, C, B, E.
I put E in. I put A, D. I see D as being correct. I don't know why it says I got that one wrong. Do you have 89% on yours?
I have 94. I missed, well, I got 17 right. A, D, C, B, E. Is that what you put?
I put A, D, E, B, E. I must have.
Oh.
But it gave me credit for E. That's weird. Anyway, whatever.
And then okay, so then number 11. I missed number 11.
C. Okay. Yes, and I missed number 11 too. And I put all the female workers, and it was the one I said that it's not. Many randomly selected workers in each of the several working districts. So I need to check on that one homework question.
All right. Yeah, because maybe that one homework one is wrong. No, I'm kidding.
It could be, because it was very similar to this, where it talks about it. Yeah, I think I told you, like, where people live off campus, or if they live on campus.
And then it was very specific with the female or the gender.
It said all the male students or something like that was what I saw as the correct, what they said I had was the correct answer. And I'm like, no way. So anyway.
All right. Well, that's, I mean, it made sense with all the female workers.
Right. So.
Well, but randomly selected workers in each of the several working. So, I mean, that did make sense to me as well. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not bad.
I think we did all right. So good thing. Very good. Okay. My next question is, when are we going to meet again?
I know. So what do we want to do? We got to have,
because this is due, lesson 3's due, I think Friday or Saturday. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can meet Thursday at 1:30. Is that not?
That works for me. I can do that. So let's just plan on it, and hopefully the rest of the group will join us. And
yeah, I will tell them, because she was saying she doesn't really want just 2 people in a group.
No, it's kind of silly, because then it's just like I can railroad you into putting wrong answers like I just did.
No.
So sorry.
I'm not too concerned about it. I learn from things, so that's good. So the Thursday at 1:30, I mean, maybe they just couldn't figure out how to get onto it.
That's all I can think.
Because both of them, and I put my phone number on there, and I'll just say, please feel free to call me if you can't figure it out, because that's why I put my phone number on there. So I'll just send it out again for 1:30 on Thursday.
Okay.
And then maybe by next week we can just, combine it and just meet.
So we can talk about Thursday, maybe trying to be prepared for the whole week on either Tuesday or Thursday, whichever week works, or whichever day works better for them, Tuesday or Thursday afternoon. And being prepared.
Because the one in Winsome said he could meet both days. So.
Oh, good. Perfect. And I can meet both days for now. I'm like, I can do, that's fine. Afternoons are better for me. So that works.
Yes, I work in the mornings till 1. So 1:30 is perfect. So that's good.
Okay.
All right. Well, nice to meet you. And
Meet you. What are you doing?
I am working in the school district just to get into the school district, but I work as a math and reading specialist in an elementary school, which I love.
That's cool. Good for you.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
Are you working right now?
I am not. I just barely finished my CNA program, and I'm waiting to I take my boards actually in a couple weeks. So,
nice.
But I'm not really planning on working with that so much. I may do after this semester, but this semester I have 16 credit hours and they're all science and math, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. I'm nervous with my 12. Good luck with your 16.
I'm like, oh, what was I getting into? I have microbiology and chemistry, and then anatomy and physiology and biostat. So,
oh my gosh.
So
wow.
We'll make it through. We'll make it through.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. All right. Well, I will. Do you want me to post the link, or do you want me to send it to you?
If you don't mind posting it, that would be fine. I think if you don't mind sending it to me too, I think that would make sense both ways.
Okay.
And I can post it too if they want us to do it that way. I don't know.
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
One person.
We'll see ya.
Okay. Bye.